Oh, leave it alone. Hey, Tasha.
How are you, George?
Good. How about you?
Good. Good.
Is Christy on too?
Yeah, she'll be on in just a second. We actually were just meeting, so we've been meeting this morning. So she's gonna jump on in just a second.
Okay.
I am gonna share
Okay.
a spreadsheet with you.
And thank you for meeting the other day. It was very nice. Thank you.
It was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. So I thought it was great to catch up and be able to share the heart of the ministry with you. And
yeah,
so it was good.
And if I get a phone call, forgive me, but
Yeah,
I've been dealing with. I took it to your place. The 911 got a big flat in it, and oh boy, those cars are finicky.
Oh, so you're okay. So you're having car issues.
Yeah, I'm having to go to the car dealers, not the car, but my car mechanic. And anyway, so hopefully not.
Yeah. Well, if you do, no problem.
And then I'll be like a school teacher. Talk amongst yourselves.
There you go. Yeah, Christy and I have plenty to talk about these days. So
Hi, Christy.
Definitely. So Christy, I was going to share with him. You haven't shared with him the spreadsheet yet, have you?
I don't think so.
I got something.
Oh, maybe.
What'd you get?
I printed it and it had items, live auction, 2-night stay at Big Canoe, Chick-fil-A for a year, UGA package, console, Dublin, all-inclusive Caribbean, all-inclusive Puerto
Show me what you had. Is it a Word document or an Excel?
Yeah,
it's a Word document.
I shared the spreadsheet with him.
I printed it.
That was like, last week.
Yeah.
Can't hear you very well, Christy.
Yeah, I can't hear you guys very well either. Let me leave and come back in, okay?
Okay. So I'm going to share with you the actual, wait, is it, hold on. Because I don't see it. I don't see you.
It wasn't a document. It was written in the email.
Oh, okay.
And so I put it into a Word document.
Okay. So we have it in a spreadsheet. So we have a spreadsheet and then we're going to put it in a Word document once we've started a Word document, but it's not finished. The spreadsheet is updated. So it's kind of real time.
Okay.
It's a good.
Let me get this call.
Do you need to get that? Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem.
Me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, I can hear you much better too.
Okay. So I'm just gonna share it. That way he'll see the updates that we make as we make them.
Okay.
I think that will probably be helpful, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, doors we go. Okay. All right. So he's on a call. So I thought of something to ask you, and now I don't know what it was. Oh, did you see the text I sent you?
Oh, about sweet and unsweet tea?
Yeah. Did we do both?
Oh, I can't remember. Surely we did. I can't imagine there wouldn't be some people that would need unsweet tea.
I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. Crisis averted, I hope.
Oh, good. Yay.
We'll see. and the tow truck company's going to call. So anyway, so what's going on?
Okay. So we are still finalizing our auction list. So
you know what? I'd be done with it. You don't need to finalize anymore. We're too close to it. Because your audience isn't going to have enough time to respond.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, I don't know why nonprofits love to think that surprises are good. They're not really good. When you go to an event, I believe, because I've done enough of these, that when your patrons know what their money's going to be used for, when they know what they're going to bid on, they'll give you more funds than when they find out that night. When
Yeah.
they find out that night, they're like, I didn't know that. I haven't had any time to plan. It wasn't in my head. And then when they go there and they got question marks in their head, they just don't do anything. So I love you guys, and obviously you can do what you want, but
Yeah.
I've done too many of these, and that's how I always like that. Always.
No, I totally understand. So in the past, so we really haven't. Well, we've shared some as we've gone. So I've shared a few things kind of along the way, not a whole lot, but most of our stuff is finalized. However, we have a contact that from Mercedes-Benz that has a few items, and to me, I wouldn't feel comfortable with being like, well, no, it's too late, so we're not going to put that in there. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't put it in there. But now going forward, hearing what you're saying, I think is valuable, because we could probably do a better job of sharing all of those things in advance, which is really our goal. And we did share some of the things, but we've had a pretty good experience with people. And we have had some people who have like, hey, let me see the list of what y'all are doing. But most people come knowing that we're doing a live auction. And I kind of put it out there as far as like, we're going to have, these are the types of items we're going to have. We're going to have these trips. We're going to have the sports memorabilia. We're going to have all these things. So I've given categories of things that we're offering. And so, so the things that we're supposed to nail down today are things we've been working on for months now. But so those are things that we'll insert in there, but it'll be things that we're expecting, like, you know,
Tasha, I never insist on anything. I'm just trying to give you my best advice.
Oh yeah, no. I receive that. I receive it for sure. So, and that makes sense to me. So I think that's good information going forward, so we can make sure that we do communicate things clearly to people, and that makes sense. But you know, what we have to work with right now is things that we've had most of these items for a while now. And, you know, some of them have been communicated, but then there's going to be probably about 4 or 5 more things that will be added that are coming from this particular source. So, yep. So, but what you have here, or what has been shared with you, is pretty much what what we have that we're offering. And so the next, like today and tomorrow, will be the process of putting that into a document that they'll receive at their tables, as well as the PowerPoint that they'll receive that's got all of it that you will use. So as soon as that PowerPoint's done, you'll get that PowerPoint, so you'll be able to see, you know, what will be up there when you're speaking.
And I guess on a Google Doc or whatever, however you share it, we got that email chain going. So
yeah, so you mean, are you talking about the Word document that'll be handed out to everybody? Is that what you're talking about? Or the PowerPoint? The
descriptions for me to describe the live auction items.
Yep, that'll be in a Google Doc. Yeah, we'll share that via Google Docs. Yeah, that should be hopefully done by end of day today or first thing in the morning.
Okay.
So Christy, that's something. So we'll work with, you know, you and I and Kate will try to get that knocked out as soon as possible. And hopefully if we have those other things, we can get that all finalized. So
no worries. We've done this the hour before.
Yeah, hopefully it's not that. I hate last minute,
but forgive me. I'm more stressed about the car than you guys. That's really what's anyway. So are you trying to share something?
I did share a sheet, like a Excel spreadsheet.
Should I see it on the screen? Are you on present?
Oh no. I'm sorry. I didn't share it that way. I shared it with you, like you should have gotten it in your emails, like an invitation to.
Okay, so there's an email about it. Let me get it. There. No. Where have you sent that today?
I did about 5 minutes ago. I can share my screen though.
It's okay.
I imagine I can figure that out pretty easily with this.
Yeah, it says present. There it is. There it is.
You see it?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'll share it anyways, because that way we can all look at it together. Mm,
There it is. Okay. Yeah. You see the present?
I do. I'm just trying to close out everything else that I have open, which is a bazillion things.
George is in the document now, though. I can see that he's in there.
So I guess we can just all, and then we
Yeah.
can just, I guess I don't have to share then.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause he's in the document.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Okay, so do you want to go through these, or because I did want to?
No, not really.
Okay.
Silent auction is that. I take it these silent auction, live auction. Let's go through the live auction.
Yes.
And
what?
United States big cabin. Okay, big canoe. Okay, CFA for a year. What is CFA?
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's usually a big one, a popular
Okay.
one.
At the one location or all locations?
Unfortunately, I think it's the one location because it's always been all locations, but I think they changed the way they do things, and I think they're specific now. And I'm like, but you know.
And are your folks from that area?
I think a lot of them are. I mean,
Okay.
I know a good many that will be there from that area. So, I mean, we're looking at around 375 people.
Okay.
So I think we'll have, I think most people there are probably from the Marietta, Woodstock, ish area.
Okay. And then the Ronald Acuna framed jersey. That's nice. I mean, he's a big star right now.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Braves are out.
I know, which is very
It'd be nice if they were still in, but it is what it is.
very unfortunate.
I like Dublin, and I like Ireland and Puerto Vallarta, and I know HGA. So these are reserved, so it means I can multi-sell them.
Yes, absolutely. And so I was going to ask you, and this is what I did with Kevin. So I got his input as far as like the starting bid. Obviously, you know what you need to do as far as a starting bid. Obviously, it needs to be, considerably above what we're paying the reserve price, of. But also,
well, the thing I don't have, and I went on their website, is what's the value of these? And typically they're double plus. Because if something Dublin, Ireland, you've got a reserve of $34.95. Does that mean it's worth about $7,000?
I don't know. I need to look at that. I did ask him about the Las Vegas trip up there because he's donating that one, and the value is $395. But I need to look at the other trips. The Las Vegas trip is up there in the silent auction.
Well, why would you use that there?
I don't know. Well, we haven't decided. So yeah, I would love your input on that because we were thinking. So okay.
That's all right. So let's assume that, which is generally what they do, they cut it in half and add some. So I'm saying that $34.95, $7,000 value, $15.95 for all inclusive. I'd say that's about $3,100 value. It'd be nice to get the real numbers because I went on the website and they're like priceless, and nothing's priceless.
Right.
Grandma's cookies are priceless. That's about it. You know what I mean? That's priceless. Right. Trips have real value to them. I'm like, what is that number? $1,795, so 1,800 times twice would be what, 3,600. So we'll say 3,800. Okay, so this is just some. So if you have a $3,500 starting price on Dublin, Ireland, I'd say 25% of the 7,000 of the 7. What do I do? I usually do 25%. 34. 95 times 0.25. So plus 34.95. So the starting bid for me on that is $4,400 to give you some money. It's 1,000 over, or let's say, I mean that's what I don't know about your crowd. Is it there? Is the money there? If
we already have somebody who's interested in it, I think we could safely start at 5,000.
Okay. And is that one bid or is that multiple bids?
I know we have one bidder for sure.
I think we drop it to 4,000. And well, I don't know. Once again, I don't know your crowd.
I don't know because I'm afraid I wouldn't want to let it go at 4,000.
You're going to get one bid at 5,000 is what I hear.
I think we might get more. I mean, I don't think it will necessarily be just that one bid. I know we will get that one bid, but I think
well, the general rules with auction is start low and raise it up. But
Well, so I mean, I guess I'm going off of last year. What did Christy? Do you remember what Kevin started the Caribbean trips? What did he start those at? Because those ended up going for 4,000. They all went for 4,000. Basically.
Yeah, I don't. I have no recollection. I mean,
How
I don't
many
know if we have any documentation of that.
That's okay. That's okay.
So we sold 7 of those trips,
At 4,000?
all for 4,000.
Even though they're valued at they're valued about 4,000?
Yeah.
Which trip is that? The Puerto Vallarta?
It was a
No,
Caribbean vacation.
what's that?
Okay.
What'd you say?
It was the Caribbean vacation, the all-inclusive Caribbean.
Yep.
Last year. Okay. Well, then, so people paid over and you got extra. Well, that's good.
Yep. That's
Um,
why I think it would be safe to start at 5,000.
so you're talking about Dublin.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then if you sold for 4,000 last year, start at what, 2,500 for all Caribbean?
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's, I mean, I think if you think that's a good starting point for that, I mean, that would clear 1,000 if we could. I think it'll probably go up from there, but would it be different? Okay. So you've got the Caribbean for 1,595 and then you've got Puerto Vallarta. So you're saying the Caribbean start at 2,500?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I would start it lower, but I don't know your crowd. And when you tell me that you sold these at a higher point anyway, and you think you can get the money, I say good. But if you said we don't know, I'd say start lower to get more people involved. That's my line of thought. I don't know your crowd. That's why I'm asking what happened last time.
That's why I feel like because we were, but that's my question. I'm wondering where Kevin started on those. Let me see if because I feel like I gave him the document and then he decided where he wanted to start it at, knowing that we needed to clear a certain amount.
Well, then, and that's why you start. If you want to clear $1,000 off the top, you start at $2,500. If you want to start $500, then you start at $2,000. And see, and if you start at $2,000, the thinking is more people think it's a deal and more people get in on the deal and then more people stay in and you get more numbers. If you start high, then they think, well, that's not the better deal and more people stay out. That's kind of the reverse psychology of it all.
That makes sense. Christy, do you have any thoughts in that regard?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, right? I don't know. I would go, George seems to, be the expert on it. So, I mean, I remember that it must have been pretty low on the trip, not low, but like it did go up for a little while before they landed on 4,000. So,
and that's and I know Kevin, and most auctioneers would probably want to get you the money, but at the same time, it's that funny little mix. Let's get the money. At the same time, bring as many people in as we can.
Yeah.
So that's why I say the starting amount plus 25% gets you a 25% profit right off the top, and then you go from there.
Yeah.
Starting at that point or below, and I've done that, and it's gone up too. So that's why I use typically that 25% number. The cost of what you pay plus 25% start there.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Christy.
No, I was going to say, I mean, that's probably not a bad idea because even if you sold it a little less, but you sold more of them, that's more money in the long run.
And I'll gauge it then, but that's what I'm hoping to do. If you sell 6 at 4,000, can we sell 10 at 3,800?
Yeah.
That's where the money is in the multi-sale. And it isn't necessarily that you're going to get more money if you sell it at the highest point. You'll get fewer bids and you get higher money, but I'd rather get way more money bids at a little less money and you multiply it exponentially that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I will defer to you on that because that is
Let's talk about it. At this point, let's say starting number plus add 30%. Okay. So Chick-fil-A then for a year, Cobb location, and you said that, and that's let me get back to that. Tell me about, and then double, okay, we got that. And then the Brock Bowers Lunar FS signed replica helmet. I'm sorry, I should know Brock Bowers, but I don't. Who's that?
He's a big deal. So we have a lot of UGA people in the crowd. So
Okay.
I think those items do really, really well.
Oh, wait, is he the coach? Or is he the quarterback right now?
No, he's not. He's actually, is he a receiver?
Okay.
I don't know what he is, but he's injured right now.
He is, but he is like,
Okay.
he's like,
Yeah, I get
it
it.
for
Okay, he's
UGA.
one of the UGA dogs, star players.
Yes, he
I
is.
see. I didn't see UGA or anything on there.
Do I not have that? That would be
Lunar
good.
FS. That's what tossed me. I'm like, is he,
Oh yeah, UGA. That would be helpful to put UGA on there.
okay. Okay. So $300. Yeah. Okay. I'm not a giant fan of those. I think sports things, unless, and that's probably as good as you're going to get, unless there's some connection to the cause or your community, they tend to top out at the number and $100 or $200. So if we're doing an auction and you got too many items and they're lesser priced items, is it going to take away from the higher price items that are going to get you more money? And that's why I look at all these things.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, ladies.
Mhm.
You say camper created. I know those are your kids. Do I call them campers? What's the right term?
Yeah, I mean, that's what people would understand if you said campers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of the schools, you don't call them students, they're participants. With the Gigi's Playhouse, you don't say children with Down syndrome, you say participants. And that's what that
Yeah.
means. So that's why I'm asking. So
we
you're
use,
saying
we use
campers
campers
as
a
well?
lot. So Waymark, so that's where they created the artwork, is at camps.
Okay.
And let me backtrack a little bit to UGA. So I think those are going to be a bigger deal than you think, because I'm knowing our crowd and knowing the people that I've talked to. We have some items in the silent auction as well, but that those did really well last year.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
just as a heads up, the Chick-fil-A did really well. The UGA items went really well.
Okay.
And the trips went really well. So those were our I think our biggest sellers.
And Mercedes-Benz, David Villari.
That's what I'm hoping to have nailed down today. So David Villari has it's like a pinball, like one of those like real like pinball machine things I'm talking about. So we're supposed to get one of those, and then as far as the other, it's going to be a combination. We're hoping for a trip to Montana. Arthur Blank has a place in Montana.
Yes, and sold that trip before.
Yeah, so that's what we're kind of hoping we'll get that. I don't know if we'll get that or not, but that could be a potential item. And then
I think, to be honest with you, I think you got enough. I mean, are we trying to, and auction is where I sell 400 lots and I'm going as fast as I can. Right now, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is that? 10, 12? That's a lot for a charity auction. I think that's a lot. And we got to mix them up. You don't want to put them same.
3,
You want to
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's not the ones that are together. So for example, the big canoe and then the $100 gift card, that's combined. So that's a package. And then the UGA, that's a package. So like the colors, like the ones that are together, like UGA print, Brock Bowers, those are together.
Okay.
So
and the camper created artwork, are those
that's
all
Christy. Christy knows about that.
those are all one piece?
No, those are the potentials for the pieces we're going to have. I believe that there are going to be 3 pieces that will be auctioned. We've got to see the final products.
Okay. How have those done before? I know that school auctions, parents love.
Yeah, those do really well. Last year we had a piece that was done by a well-known artist that didn't get anywhere close to what it was valued at, but our camper created pieces were like,
because
gangbusters. They were huge. Yeah.
Again, selling to the cause and the participants and the campers and the cause. And what did those usually start at? 300, 200, 500?
Let's see. I don't know what we usually start them at. Do you know, Tasha, what do you usually start the camper pieces at?
We haven't done them in the live auction before.
Yeah.
So the silent auction. I feel like we
Um,
started those around 3, maybe
What are you
300.
talking about?
My first thought is
We have
300
a couple,
bucks.
like really special, like camper art.
No,
We're
that's
gonna
the
do
stuff
an-
that I like. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
But you know,
We're
it
trying to think of
depends-
where
what's
we
the
start.
size of it? How big is it?
Yeah, that's what. So I think Christy was going to send me a picture of a
I would
couple
think
of them.
I would think 500, but I.
Mhm.
Okay. Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, what's up, George? How you doing, bud? Sorry.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. We'll make the call then. What I wouldn't do, I don't know if you guys do this or not, but some folks put the value of what we're auctioning off. I wouldn't do that. It sets either a bar or a ceiling because people
So-
don't pay that much. So I'm not going to bid anymore.
Okay, let me ask you this question. So, and you're that's what I'm hearing from people. However, if you check with the IRS, unfortunately, now I know this information. It says that for auctions, you have to put the value out there in order to be in compliance with them, because the people, like when they give,
yeah.
like it has to be like, oh, like they can't get tax credit for. They
Right.
only can get
No,
tax
they
credit
get
over and
the
above, so
difference.
they've got to know the value.
Right. Well, well, and that speaks to the, are you given to the cause or are you given to get up front with sound?
Well, right.
So I'm not an attorney. If you feel uncomfortable, then obviously put it on there. Generally speaking, most nonprofits and the NAA also says it's okay not to put it out
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah, but
What's the
I'm not.
NAA?
I'm not going to advise. I'm not an attorney. I'm
Yeah.
not.
I
Whatever.
mean, I don't want to. I agree with you. Like, I
Yeah.
would rather not, but I also want to be in compliance with the IRS.
Yeah.
So, who is the NAA? Who is that says that you
Oh,
don't?
sorry. The National Auctioneers Association
Okay.
and the
Okay. Well,
Benefit Auctioneer Specialists. That's the groups I'm part of.
Yeah.
With the best practices, and one of the best
Yeah.
practices we believe is to
No.
not advertise the values.
so nobody, like the people that you work with, all organizations, does like nobody does that, or like a percentage, or like
There's nothing. There's no 100% anything in
Yeah.
the world. So some do, some don't. The majority, I would say, don't.
majority don't? Okay.
And this is the other part of the equation that I like to work with. I don't want to send somebody on a trip that's valued at $3,000 and we sell it for $5,000. Then they go and then they find out it's worth $3,000, and then they say, I paid $5,000, and they're like, oh, that's nice, but I paid too much. I don't want to do that. I don't like to do that to people. The only thing that they should pay extra for is, I don't know, fly fishing with Vince Dooley, a celebrity, which I sold for $6,000 twice, a celebrity night with, Guy Fieri or something. That's big money. That's celebrity money. So you don't really have a value on that. The value of art pieces by the campers, that's very subjective.
Oh yeah.
The value of a travel package is really specific. It has a number to it, even though they don't like to tell you. And the reason they don't like to tell you is because they want you to get more money, so that you get more money and they get all their money. But I still believe that I do not like to send folks on adventures that we sold way overpriced, and they're going to find out they're going to be mad at you and mad at me. I've done that before because I can get the money. It's not about getting the money. It's about treating everybody right. And if you treat them wrong, just because you could get the money, they're going to come back and say, all they did is take my money. And
I definitely hear you, and I definitely would prefer not to. We didn't until I learned that about the IRS. But here's my question though. So like at the end of the year, and I know you're not an attorney and probably can't answer this question, but then my question would be at the end of the year when we're sending out tax statements, like how do we then say, okay, so you're only getting this much because that was only valued at so and so. So then it's kind of like, say what?
Yeah. Well, and that's why you do a fund to need. Then they can take the whole amount because
yes, those are the easiest.
Yeah, that's you know what I don't even want to answer those questions because that to me speaks philosophically. Well, what are you given for? Are you given to get a tax break? I get it. Believe me, I get it. I follow all the numbers too. What I'm doing, but that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, I know, and I hate it. I hate having to figure that out. That drives me nuts.
So
but
he knows like the travel packages, they're going to charge us.
Oh yeah, he's got all.
Okay, so he knows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. Believe me, I get it. I will leave it in your hands. If you
Okay.
want to talk to your accountant and your attorney, whatever they say. Generally speaking, the best practices is not to put it out there. Is it
Okay.
legal? If you really want to push it, if you're doing a raffle in Georgia, you probably need a license. Does anybody follow that rule? George, Uncle Sam or Aunt Georgia follow it?
Yeah.
Depends if
Yeah.
it depends if you're on the news with the I team. Basically.
That's funny.
I wish things were black and white, but they're not. They're just,
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. That's good input. I appreciate your input. So
yeah,
that's
I'm just being
helpful.
as honest as I can be.
That's helpful.
Okay, I'm cool. Just send me the stuff when you got it.
Yeah. I will.
So let's go to your fund need. I see the levels, and I'm good with that. But you said we're going to do it 5,000, 25, 100, 1,000, 500, 250, $100. And we're not going to do a last hero because I think that's going to be too complicated for you guys to collect. You know what the paddle drop is? I think we should do a paddle drop. So a paddle drop is, can you get some baskets or something like this? Or a box? And are any of your campers going to be there or your volunteers?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, well then have them. We did this with kids and they took it around. A paddle drop is, ladies and gentlemen, when you drop your paddle, you're going to have bidder numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is from, anyway, from one of the events I did. And they drop their number into the basket. We'll say, and you should put it up on the screen, paddle drop. Each paddle in the basket is a $100 donation. One paddle will be chosen for a prize. And I think you have enough prizes that we could do a paddle drop. And maybe I was thinking either the 2-night stay or the Chick-fil-A. I take it these are donated items, so you don't have to come out of pocket. But what that does is, if you'll say you got 350 people in the house, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's going to be half of that because not 350 people are going to get numbers. Generally, it's about half of that plus. So let's say there's 175 people in the crowd with numbers, and then if you get, I don't know, 80% participation. Not just because it's a paddle drop, you get to win something, but it's instead of me calling out the numbers, they're just dropping their card in the box or the basket, and then we pull one. It's basically say, the Lady Luck is on your side here, and who's going to win, and then you pull it, and then they win either that mountain stay or the Chick-fil-A for a year. And people generally give this because they want to give $100. And through the night, I'll say save $100 for the paddle drop. That way we wrap up the whole thing. You get all the bidder cards in a hand, and then that's all money. Generally, we've got about 55 to 70% participation. We've done it where we've had 50 cards, and that's $5,000.
Oh, wow.
Instead of me going number two, $100, 555, $100,
Yeah.
322, 100. And I just think the paddle drop is a great way to get a lot of money real quick.
Yeah.
And especially if you've got a prize that's valuable. Like I think that I would say the Chick-fil-A if it was everywhere, but if it's Chick-fil-A,
I know.
Yeah, it's just that one. It's just an entree. It's not even a whole meal. It's an entree. So.
Yeah. Then I don't know.
I think we were thinking about doing the Las Vegas trip, right?
Oh, that's right. You said you had a free Vegas trip.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, toss that in there.
Okay. Maybe do
Does that makes sense? The paddle drop? Believe me, it works. I did it in Chicago. I've done this here. I wouldn't bring you something that I don't think is going to work. I like the paddle drop or the last hero. The last hero is the last person to raise their card wins the prize.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you don't have, because if I recall, you guys are going up to people and taking their name, right?
Well, we have a QR code, so they're gonna whatever they commit. I mean, if they got something in the live auction or the silent auction, then they will come and transact things with us.
Right.
But other than that, then they will just go to the QR code and give whatever they have committed to give.
At the Fund Need?
Correct.
Oh, how's that going to happen?
So when they commit, so basically when they raise their paddle and commit, now we will write all of this down. So we've got people that are going to write all of it down, all of that, but we're not going to ask them to come up to us at the end and, and then process all of that, because that would be a nightmare. So last year it worked for us. So we did, we did like a fund a need type thing. And basically everybody did the QR code and they gave what they said. I mean, they gave to the dollar, like, cause we had one time they went down to like $1, which I don't recommend.
So
people gave like 1,500 and $1. I mean, it's like people are pretty exact. So I mean, that's how we've handled it, and it's worked for us up to this point. So
well, it's too late. I'm not going to rock the boat. Oh, I already have. I know. I'm sorry. But
Hey, George,
I ask you to trust me a little bit. I love the causes, and I'm very protective of the folks I work with. I really am trying to be protective and send you in the right direction. But I also know that you can't change everything overnight. I'm not going to try. But let me ask you this then. Am I going to be, ladies and gentlemen, we're now, and you call it your fund need? Yes, you do. We're now doing our fund a need. This is where you give it your own meaningful level. Some can do more, others can do less. And we're going to start at, who can join us at $5,000? Number 559, $5,000. Number 222, $5,000.
Mhm.
That's how we're going to call it out. Okay. And I think that's good. Then we go down the levels, right? And I will bring you guys a bidder sheet that has all the numbers, and all you do is write the bidder numbers now next to the numbers.
Yeah.
That'll make it easier. And then at the $100 level, I really believe that because that's the end of the night anyway. I really believe that that's a good time to do the paddle drop. Everybody drops their cards into the box, and you'd be surprised. People will just do it just to say, okay, I want to be in on this. And they're going to win a Vegas trip. Somebody's going to win a Vegas trip.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks will just do it because it's easy to do. Drop the card in there. And I'll probably ask them to take a picture with their iPhone of the numbers so that they'll remember their number.
Yeah.
Because here's a question. How do you know who's got what numbers? How are you doing that?
When they come in and register, we will give them a number, and we will mark it beside their name on the registration forms.
Okay.
Or on our check-in form.
So these are my cards, and I'm bringing you these, right?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So would you put a piece of tape and write the number on them, or write the name on them?
We haven't put names on them in the past.
But how do you know, like that? And that's what I'm asking about the paddle drop, because when the paddle drop happens and then these come up on stage, I say, oh, number 255.
They need to know that they're 255.
Right.
Yeah. So that's like it's
And
take a picture before you. So make sure you know your number before you drop it in
But
that.
if not, Christy would have a spreadsheet.
How are you guys going to know their number?
Christy would know.
I'll have a spreadsheet with everybody's name and number on it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
So you can search on that spreadsheet for the number and tell you the name if they didn't have it.
Say, here's the winner.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because that will happen. People will go, oh, I forgot my number.
Exactly. Yeah.
First time.
Write it on your hand.
I'm sure.
And a lot of times what they'll do is they put a little piece of tape and write the name, or they'll just ruin my cards and write the name. And I don't care if they do that anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes if you write the name on the card or put a little piece of tape and write the name on the card, if not, then some way to follow it.
Yeah.
I think you guys are a perfect candidate for a paddle drop. I really do. That's up to you guys. I think if you do the paddle drop with the Las Vegas trip, you got a free trip.
Yeah. I think we should try it. I mean, we've never tried it. I say, let's give it a shot and, defer to you and your expertise on all of that. So.
It's worked before. I've done it before. Okay. I think I'm good.
Now, on each one of those tables, for those that don't want to give online, there's other generations that may not be as comfortable online. We do put an envelope on each one of those tables if people decide to give another way. So we don't make everyone do online. We do have a place for people to put checks or whatever.
I'll leave it to you guys. But when we do a numbers thing, I just say go with the numbers, because people, they get confused. What am I supposed to do? Put it in an envelope, go online, raise my card. One approach gets you more money every time. Because when you split it up, they're like, well, what am I doing? and then they get
It's maybe 10 people. You know, it's not a whole lot. So I agree. Just have the one approach, but we do leave envelopes on the table in case.
So we have a slide that we have that says here are the different options to give, and then also we give an option to volunteer because we want to give them an opportunity to engage with us, because some people are going to be there and they're not going to give any money, or their focus is more on volunteering. So we want to say, here are the ways to engage with us, and this is how you do it. And so we've got a slide that gives all of those different options.
Yeah.
And above that too, not above that, but in addition, the monthly donor option, that's something else that we'd like to hit on. So I'll say, just so you know, and I think we talked about this last year. Last year we had one of our volunteers that kind of tied up the night and kind of shared her heart for the ministry and gave people encouraged them to get involved, and that was in the different levels of involvement. So that's kind of how we did it, but we wanted you to finish up the night because we thought that made sense, and that's kind of what you do. So we wanted to try it that way, especially after Mary Kate does her thing. So, but one of the things, the monthly donor side of it is important to us, because to me, I would rather get a monthly donor than somebody that gives $1,000 on the spot.
Let me get this going real quick. It's the.
Oh yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's okay. That's all right. They'll call back.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think it's over. They went off. I agree. I think you need to get them at whatever way. Like I said, Doug, I'm not trying to change everything. I'm really not. I just know that, and I hope that we go forward and then we can kind of look at things. Yeah. Just having done, I don't know, 300, 400 of these, whatever. Mm-hmm. There's just patterns that there's a reason things work and things don't work. And when you give people too many choices, they don't make choices. Mm-hmm. So I can't do that. If I'm overwhelmed,
I was just sharing that information so you knew we're not going to be pushing that, but we do have some from the older generation that like to write checks.
Yep.
We don't stick one at everybody's seat, but there are some at each table. So we're not going to push that or anything like that. But I mean, I'm totally okay with doing one option, but I just wanted to let you know it wasn't a pushback or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I've tried to change kind of my whole demeanor. Oh boy, George Franco, Fox 5 News, watch out. I mean, I was a bulldog and I was a good reporter and I would chase down the stories, but I'm like, no, I'm gentler and kinder now. Yeah. So I have to go, okay, chill out, dude. Anyway, so I'm good. If I may, let me let you guys talk amongst yourself. Let me check this real quick because the tow truck's on the way.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Sorry, I didn't realize you needed to go. I was not even, I guess, looking. Just, sorry. I was just in my zone.
So what do you have on the how many live auction things are we doing?
This is it right here. And we'll move this off of it. No, that's silent. Down here. Down here. Yeah, so I'll move that to a paddle drop separate section. So we've got this, and I think you're right about what I think
crisis averted.
Okay, good. I'm so sorry about that. I was in the zone talking, and I just didn't.
No.
It was like he was holding up his phone. I'm like, I'm sorry, I did not even see.
It's all right. You know what? In life, moments matter, and this matters. It'll be fine. No worries.
Well, so does your car. That's important.
Well, somebody said it's a car, not a shrine, dude. Drive it because it's I retired and I bought a Porsche 911. I love that. I'll drive it to you guys. I love that car, except it's a Porsche, and when it has issues, it's worse than a bad old girlfriend. They got real issues.
I bet. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so I think it's cool. I think the paddle drop, I think the live auction, I think the specific numbers. Do you have anybody in-house that you think will donate at a higher level? I always like to go fishing, and I don't linger long. ladies and gentlemen, we're at $5,000 is our usual starting place, but are there any heroes or sheroes in the crowd, an ambassador of goodwill, an angel who'll make a difference for Waymark? Can you join us at $10,000? You know, and if somebody goes, and a lot of times, yep, oh great, $10,000. And if it doesn't happen in 10 seconds, I move on. Okay, let's go to $5,000.
Yeah, I think you should try it. I think so. I think it's possible that you'd have somebody in there that might be
It's
willing.
amazing. Who was it? Musk Ministries. I love Musk Ministries.
Yeah.
When I first met them, they're like, well, we start at 1,500. I said, 1,500? You guys are good. Then we took it to 2,500, and I said, well, can I do that? And we got $4,000 or $5,000. And we went, oh my God, that's 20 grand.
Yeah.
If you hadn't have asked, we'd get $2,500.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's somebody in that room that has given more than that, so that we know they have the ability, but they'll probably bid on something. That's probably what they'll do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And I'm excited by Mary Kate Burson. I take it she's pretty good in front of a crowd. Everything I see about her, that she's an amazing person. I'm so sorry about what happened. Of course, I remember what happened.
Yeah.
And that she's got enough courage and conviction to speak in front of a crowd. Wow.
Yeah, she will be amazing. I mean, she's kind of getting used to that. Like, I think she's had a lot of opportunities to share, and so I think that's going to be a huge.
Yeah.
She has 3 tables. So she sponsored 2 tables. So she herself sponsored 2 tables and is hosting 3 tables.
Okay.
But there's like 4 tables of people that are specifically there for her, but a bunch more people who love her and know her and all of that.
Okay.
So, I mean, she's a huge draw for the night.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and I think generally speaking, when it comes to friends of, they're probably not in at 10,000, but they're probably in at 250 and 500.
I don't know. There's some at one of her tables.
Oh yeah, there's one person.
There's a whole bunch of money at one of her tables.
Good.
You
Okay.
ever driven down Lower Roswell Road and see that odd house on the right?
Yeah. Okay.
They're
Wow.
that house with the big lake and the waterfall and the flamingo. And
Oh, wow.
it looks like something Trump would own.
Like they bring the Trump money.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're the nicest people you will ever
I
meet.
love it. Okay. Okay.
So,
Okay. So what else? What else? I'm caught up a little bit. Tell me what you got when you got it, the final run of show.
yeah, we will.
I have a good sense of where we're going.
You're gonna adjust.
Asha, are you the MC? Am I kind of the offshoot MC? Do you have an MC?
Yeah, I mean, not per se. I mean, the way we've done it is basically, like in the past, Doug and I have gotten up there, but get up there and do kind of a welcome. And then one of our board members is going to come up there and pray for the night.
Okay.
And then basically then we just eat. And then we show the
I love how
video.
you get right to it.
Then I get up there and speak, and then I'll introduce Mary Kate within what I share. So I'm going to introduce her then,
Right.
and then you'll go on, and then Mary Kate will come up after you, and then it's you. So it really doesn't really need.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I just go on after Mary Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the professional message before the fun to need. I agree. And you put aside 25 minutes. I don't know. Is that too long? And I don't want to cut anything down. I have no idea. Maybe she'll speak less or more. What do you guys think?
I think she'll probably be somewhere between 20 and 25. I think she's going to be pretty exact if I'm reading her correctly.
Okay. All right. Then I would leave everything as is.
So is that time? Is that at the end? Is that going to be enough time for you?
What I'm ultimately saying is I hope we can get to it sooner, but if not, then we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay.
What I do like is that you start at a real reasonable time, so that I would say that if we see that dinner, is this a served dinner or a buffet?
It's a served dinner.
Okay. I would say that if the people are being served and you're having the salads and desserts put down first, or are they getting all put down one at a time?
So we're just serving the plate. So nothing's on the table ahead of time, because in the past we've had rolls, but we have cornbread, so it's going to be actually on the plate. So they will just get their whole plate at a time. Desserts and coffee are at 2 stations at 2 opposite ends of the room.
Which will happen after the fundraising.
Which,
At any time, people can
Yeah,
get
at
coffee and
any time,
desserts. You
yeah.
don't have to wait for anything.
Okay, and that's what I'm trying to get at, is that I hope we have a way to keep them in
Yeah.
the seats.
they pretty much stay seated. Once the program starts, nobody really moves. Don't you think,
Yeah.
Christy? I feel like people are pretty
Yeah.
much glued to their
That's
seats.
wonderful. And that's because you start at a reasonable hour.
Yeah.
And so they come in, they set the plate down, and then the servers are out of the way, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, Christy, you can speak to that. So
Well, they'll come in and take your plate or get you.
that's what I was going to let her. Yeah.
Yeah, we so the way we have it set up is that they will start to clear plates, as people are finishing. So before even Tasha gets up and starts talking about the kind of the year in review, then we would try and have all of the plates cleared and all of that. So even the servers aren't moving around at that point.
You're going to think I'm a. Does it matter to have the plates cleared? I just seen enough of these that it doesn't really matter.
And we don't. Yeah, we don't usually get all of them cleared. Usually the front tables, we do clear them some, like so that they don't have anything there for the desserts. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on our staffing and stuff like that. So we'll kind of play it by ear.
I wouldn't even say it depends on that. I would just say leave it, because the more interruption you have at the tables, the more clinging and clanging, the more noise goes up. The more noise goes up, the more distraction. The more distraction, the less money. The quieter and more focused we can remain on the stage and the fundraising, I believe the greater the result will be. And that's why I say just leave the plates. I know, and some people are like, absolutely not. And if not, I get it. That's fine. But in my experience, it doesn't change a thing. We just did one where we were fundraising during dinner, and it didn't change anything. People gave, and we kept moving on because we knew it was a long night. We had a lot to do. It was it was Gigi's Playhouse. It was, and all the participants were there. The children with Down syndrome, they were all there. So there was all kinds of distractions on the kids and the parents, and so we said just keep moving. And we didn't stop anything, and it worked fine. Versus being to remove plates, it just takes time, and it's kind of a stall on things. I think my approach is once you've set the first plate down to dinner, and then you get the last plate down to dinner, when you have that last plate down to dinner, the first plate down to dinner, they're done eating. And so that's a good point to start, and just leave it and go from there.
And we do leave we intentionally left a gap in between while they're eating dinner, because we got a complaint, not a complaint, but just a suggestion that there's time for the tables to talk, because we've got table hosts who are like, we want to talk with our people about the ministry and share our heart about the ministry.
That's a good point.
So that's why we've left a gap there to where nothing happens before Cameron comes up to do her thing. Because when she goes up to do her thing, people are hyper focused for the most part on her. Some people still talk, but we're hoping that'll help a little bit if people can kind of get out what they want to say during that period of time, and then stop talking when she starts singing.
That's the time to talk too.
I mean, it can be.
Doesn't sing
There's
like
plenty of time. No,
that's true.
When she's
That's
singing,
true.
I'm eating
That's
and
true.
talking.
if you guys were starting dinner at 8:00, then I'd be like, but wait a minute, then we'd be getting to fundraising at closer to 10. You're starting dinner at 6:50. So I just think that just kind of watch the flow, and when things are done, move on. Because people say, well, we can't because the schedule says. But if you see that people are milling about and things are getting restless, move on.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just move on.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
all right. That's enough of that. I'll leave it alone. So whatever you guys think, but I just want you to know why I say these things.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. We definitely want your input because you certainly are the expert on these things.
Well, we've just done too many of them, and there's human practices.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Other than that, what do you guys think? Anything from me? I will show up with 2 bid spotters, and I'll bring the bidder cards, and I'll bring Yellow Feather, are you here? You have one of those bidder sheets?
What's a bid spotter? Two bid spotters.
Oh, okay. So you're actually bringing.
Yup, 25, 45, yup. And so they're in the crowd as
Okay.
I'm pulling the bids out. They're saying, yep.
Oh, these are people. You're bringing two people that are.
Oh, absolutely. I always have
okay.
bid spotters.
Oh, we haven't had that before.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, because other than that, how do we keep? I mean, I can follow the bids.
Yeah.
But we just bring, and it's going to be Keith Barnes and Candace. They're both auctioneers, and they know what we do, and they're part of the team. So they'll bring in a lot of energy, and it goes 25, 35, able to buy, yup, to 45, yup, 55, yup. And so, and they're in the crowd going, are you in? You think, oh, you don't want to miss this.
Do they ever try to get two guys to go again? Because sometimes you can have a little humor to it. What's that?
Always. And what
Okay,
happens is yes, thank you. So this is what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
This is for Sarah Familia. We just did them.
Okay.
And so you've got 5,000, 2,500, 1,000, all the way down to 100.
Okay.
And then next to that, you've got the bidder numbers. So you got the amount, then the bidder numbers.
Perfect.
So who's watching the money from your team, I guess?
So we have two people for sure, and we'll probably have at least one or two more people watching, so we can kind of cover the room.
Yeah, and Christy, I'd love to meet with them so that they know how to follow, because what happens all the time is people try and watch the auction. You can't watch, you'll lose it because it goes boom, boom, boom. It's like a tennis ball. And I say, sir, it's like a game of tennis. Your turn, boom, your turn, your turn, your turn, somebody else. And we're going 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. And they're trying to do this and they get lost.
Yeah.
Just listen and write. And the other thing I'll tell them is there's so many voices going on. There's so much going on. And I don't care that it's me or whoever it is, but there's really one voice. I feel like Judge Judy, my opinion is the only one that counts. Listen to the auctioneer. Otherwise, people get confused. They don't know who to listen to. And if they listen to the auctioneer, which is calling the official sold, or this number is in, this number is out, then it'll help a lot. Because I've had people just like, I didn't know who to follow. And that was, before I was better at it. Now I always say, listen to the auctioneer. I will call out the numbers. I'll say number 522, $5,000, number 122, $5,000, or sold to 522 at $4,500. And when I'm calling an auction, I can go fast, 25, 35, 45, able to buy now, 55, able to buy 75, able to buy 85, $100, now 95, now 1,000, $10,000, all in, all done. But I'll also say I'm at $9,500 looking for 10,000. So I'll try and guide your audience so that they're not lost. Because sometimes you can talk real fast, but people don't know auctions.
Yeah.
I kind of mix it up. People talk and auction talk. So
Yeah.
it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
What time do you think you'll be there on Thursday, George?
What time do you need me? I usually show up about 4:30. What time do you guys?
Yeah, that should be good. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'll get there with plenty of time.
Because it'll be hectic. I mean, people will be pulling on Tasha and Christy, so you'll have to.
I know.
Even though you get there, you just have to be flexible.
Yeah, because you're starting at 6. So all right, 3:45, 3:30. I'll be there with plenty of time.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And the other thing is, Tasha, you don't need to worry about us when we're doing this. You're the social butterfly flitting about, meeting and talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at Christy, I guess that you'll be my go-to person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I believe me, I get it. Because right now you're dealing with this, but the night of, you won't be, nor should you be. You can look to us and say, how's it going? But the truth is you need to be with your people, the campers and your patrons, with your mission and encouraging the love and generosity versus, oh, are you guys sure you got everything? Yeah. It's like planning a wedding. Leave it to us. And that's why I get up here. And that's why I'm like this, because so then the night gets here and then we're like, okay, we got it covered versus you going, is everything okay? And then you're somewhere else.
Well, I know Christy and you are both more than capable of doing that.
I know.
So I appreciate that. And I do love to do that. I love to be able
to let go.
Be freed up to hang with everybody. And I usually do because Christy is very good at what she does. So.
Yeah, and it's important. And it's important for you to be out there with your patrons and your campers and and everybody else versus like you're behind the scenes and they're like, yeah, I don't want you to get all stressed out over this.
One thing I was thinking, I don't know, maybe you already covered it. Does he know how many people have RSVP?
I told him 375.
Okay, so we're having that's a pretty big crowd, I would think. That's a
For us,
yeah.
it's a
the
packed
most.
house. So we're having to add a couple tables, and
That's
I just did
wonderful.
Maxed out tables. Yeah.
Do we mention what our goal is for the night at the beginning? Is
Oh, that's a good point. What is your goal?
I say 100,000.
Awesome.
Okay. From Fund a Need, from sponsors, from everything. Tell me about that.
I just say kind of from everything. I mean, is there a differentiation? And I'm open to suggestions if you feel like we should say.
I like to know. I like to know if I'm just downloading your stuff.
Overall is what we've done. We've added it all together. Overall is what
So that includes sponsors, live auction, Fund a Need.
Yeah, everything.
Oh, and no, that's why I'm saying from our Fund a Need, are we looking at $50,000?
we don't split it up. We
don't specify like, we want to raise this from this from this. I mean, maybe we should, but we don't. We just say we'd like to. And I will say this too, and I know this is an important point, that we have enough in sponsorship funds that it's underwritten. So basically everything that people give, goes to the ministry because the gala is underwritten. So
Right.
I think people like to know that.
Yeah, but you and I don't take it lightly that you pay me. Believe me, I don't. I get it. And so my goal is to get you additional funds on top of that.
Yeah.
So we're going to, by the end of the night, I'll lose 5 pounds as usual. We'll bring it on. Okay.
George is at our table, right?
Yes.
Yeah, whatever you eat, I like the food at Westcott Diner. I'll have a bite of your broccoli casserole if you don't.
Ah, cool.
But now we do need, Christy, we need to make sure, because we need 2 seats. We need seats.
I wrote their names down.
It'll be my wife and myself,
Aw.
Candace Kitchens, and Keith Barnes. But let me say this. If you have your tables sold out of patrons and every seat is taken, don't worry about us. Of course, I want to see it. And do I eat? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on the night.
I understand that. Me too.
Yeah. So never take money away for us. Your funds come first, always. And so,
No, you will definitely, you will eat. Yeah, y'all will have a place and y'all will eat for sure. So definitely.
Okay.
We just need to figure out placement and stuff. So that is something we're working through is table placements.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're kind. Yeah, you guys are real sweet. I appreciate it. Okay. I think. Are we good? Anything else?
I'm sure there will be something else,
Just
but
let me know.
I can't think of anything right now. How about you, Christy?
Nope. I think we're good. We have a list of stuff for now.
So yeah, send me the final and when
Yes.
you get it. Christy, real quick, what's your cell phone?
770
Huh?
855
Uh-huh.
7930.
And Tasha, I think I have it, but tell me your cell phone again.
404
Okay.
819
Okay.
8624.
Okay. I guess the 2023 etiquette of phone calls is text, dude, and then call. Hello. I'm like still a boomer. I still make phone calls. But yeah, and if you
I
have
like
anything,
both. I agree.
One thing I just thought of when we talk about the goal of 100,000, is that something you should mention, George, or something we should mention, or?
I think that's up to you guys. And I think that does this come from before? What have you done before that makes you say 100,000?
We haven't met the 100,000. We just wanted to shoot high, and
Okay. Were you at 70?
we've gotten close. I mean, we've gotten 75, 80 or
75.
whatever.
We're about, I think it was 80. I think we're about 80.
Yeah, we
About
just
80
don't
last
usually
year.
know the exact number that night because a lot of it comes in after the fact or whatever.
Yeah.
After the fact, it's usually a good chunk of change. So we
Okay.
feel like that's a good high number. But if you feel like if you got any suggestion around that, we're open to that as well. So that's what we've always done, and we've always been pleased with what we've got.
And it's a funny thing because numbers are funny when you put them up there, and you guys, you're not really using any software, are you? You're just kind of doing it manually.
Right.
We'll talk about that later. That's something else later. There's great software, there really is. But generally, I've done it where we've had goals, and they've got the heart that fills up, and then you get to the heart. And
Yeah.
Betty goes up, and
Yeah.
we get to 80,000, and it goes to 81,000, and then they stop.
Yeah.
And that's why I've never liked that. And then if you go and if you don't reach your goal, then it feels like, oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I've never liked that, because it's
Yeah.
like ceilings. It really does.
Yeah.
People will
Okay.
stop when they think you've reached your spot. They'll stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just weird. I'm like, okay, we reached our goal.
That's why I figure you shoot high and you don't do the goal. So maybe, somebody came to us after a gala one year and gave us the impression they were going to fill the gap. It never happened, but it was kind of like, oh, cool. But
Yeah.
like, how close did you get? And we didn't know, and we're thinking this is what it is, but
I called them the next day, so we touched base the next day and,
Right.
and followed up. But
never got it.
Okay.
that's a whole other. That's a whole other story.
Okay. And so, Christy, are you doing the slides?
Yes.
Okay. If you can, send me those slides, or do you need me to send you anything on anything? Well, I think for the slides, if you've got description of the live auction items, and you've got what I'd like to do, because we're going to do the live auction first, right? So what I like to do to get people to raise their bidder cards, let's have a social media moment, and I'll get you guys to do this next time. What I did with the last fundraising partners, we have numbers, and on this side, you sell it to a sponsor, and they sold it at $5,000, and then they raise their card, and then they take a picture of it, and then the sponsor's there, and then we acknowledge the sponsor, and guess what? The sponsor puts it all over their social. These days, everybody has social media, and then they say we did a good thing and we helped our community, and this is how you show it. It works, and it gets people to put their hands in the air. And I say something like, "It's for a social media moment, and it's for practice, and it's the only time it's going to be free." Something like that.
I would love to do that going forward, because I think that was something. We haven't done that yet. Kevin mentioned it, but it was too close to the date to make it happen.
There's nothing
like,
we can do now, but
I would love to do that going forward. I think it's
there are many ways to make additional funds.
I love it.
With the paddle drop and the sponsor, boom, there's $10,000
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
it works. It works.
But we can
Anyway.
still have people raise their cards at the auction and take a picture, right? Can we not do that?
Right. No, I'm going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Just to
Okay.
get-
It'd be a fun
see,
time.
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get people to do this physically.
Get used to doing that.
Yeah.
Work it out.
Let's
Okay.
practice.
Let's
We're gonna
do it
practice.
Everybody practice. This is what we want to do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
I like
so-
it.
Your arm, your
It's
left
funny
arm.
when you get people to actually do it.
Yeah.
Then they'll kind of have it something in their memory, and then they'll do it, and it puts it in their hand.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Because
I
it's
like
funny
that.
how people don't pick up.
Good way to
the
start
card.
it out.
If you don't ask them to pick it up, they won't pick it up.
Yeah.
Just specifically do this, and it
Yeah.
doesn't charge anything, and it gets it in the air. Anyway,
I like it.
yeah. So if you want, Christy, well, I'll wait for you. But generally, it would be raise your paddle would be the first slide, and then the auction items, and then I guess I don't know if you're doing a PowerPoint for everything, but that would introduce everybody, and you got a video, and then raise the paddle, then the auction items, then you introduce your speaker, and then I come back, then we do the fund to need, and then the fund to need, all the levels with the specifics of what those levels are, and then at the very end, $100, and the $100, the paddle drop game, and then the paddle drop rules would be your paddle in the basket is $100 donation, and you will win a prize. And then the last slide would be the prize. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we don't have, so Christy, we don't have slides for that, for the fund to need. So those will need to be created, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yep.
I will say this, that when people visually see what the money's being used for, and I can say it, and they see it, it just makes more of an impact. When they don't see anything and I'm talking and they're talking to somebody else, it just makes more of an impact.
And we probably need pictures. Do we maybe put a couple of pictures on there too from like each of the things?
Yeah.
I think that would
That's
be
what I was thinking.
Okay. I think we're there.
How do we land the plane at the end of the night in terms of, for those that you got an auction item, is that something he's going to cover? Or do you get up there and say, hey, for those that have got an auction item, go to the back to take your item?
And Steve, that's a good point. I always leave because you've got projected end time 9:00 George Franco Fund to need, and I wrote a little note here to myself. I'm glad you raised that. I said Tasha return to stage ? Maybe both you and Doug, come up to the stage, and here or I could do it and say, if you've got a silent auction item, go to the registration desk to pick up your silent auction items. If you want to check out, and that's what I don't know about, then we'll see you. If you have any questions, see us, and then you talk about what's next year. And that gives you, because you need about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If you have about 5 or 6 people that
Thank you.
pick up cards, they get to us quicker, because that takes a little bit of time, and that's where we suck up that time talking about what's coming up next. Thank you for being here. Silent auction items, we hope you on.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing. I said, you said silent auction winners announced. I'm not sure what you mean by that. And are you closing the silent auction at 8 o'clock?
Yes, that was the plan.
Can we do a 2-minute countdown to close it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Can you do that?
Yes. And
Is 2 minutes enough time?
oh, it's way more than enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Because what that does, and how are they bidding on silent auction items? Is that classy?
It's a sheet of paper on front of each item, and they write down their name and number, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Basically.
okay. I'm glad
Bid
I
sheet.
asked.
So bid sheet for you.
The item is old school, and they're writing it down.
We'll have a minimum amount. Hey, it starts at this amount.
Right.
And then anything other people flash through and put theirs on.
But then you've already started dinner, and then people are going to get out of their seat. You don't want to
Yes.
do that.
They will probably, if they have an item that they want to go and check on. And
Yeah, I'd say once again, I say do everything you can to keep them in their seat, because once they get out, they get out.
Yeah.
Are they going to come back? Yeah, maybe. Probably will, but it'll be disruptive. And
so what would the alternative be?
closing the silent auction earlier, like during dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe,
But I would like to give them a warning during dinner.
Yeah.
We need to give them a warning during dinner.
Or maybe, yeah. And so they get up and then come back.
So you have
maybe
And that's kind of that lull time, I think, anyway.
and who is that going to
Yeah,
be?
we could probably close it like maybe close it at 7:30 before the videos start. And we could, because Cameron will be singing,
Yeah.
and maybe we could give some kind of like countdown saying, maybe we could do a slide after Cameron's done or something like that. I don't know if it says silent auction closing in 2 minutes or something.
Yeah. I mean,
so maybe leave a gap between when she's done, because usually we go straight into the videos, but I wouldn't want to do that if we're going to close it. Then I would want to say, like you said, maybe pop up a screen that says, 2 minutes, silent auction ending, and then give them those 2 minutes, maybe, and then start.
Now, can I take this? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hang on.
Yes.
I don't have it. It doesn't.
Hey, Tasha, we have a video running all during dinner, don't we? Like slideshow?
All during dinner.
Okay.
Nope. We
So
don't
we could
really
have
anything happening until Kami goes up to sing.
Okay, but we could throw a slide up there that says silent auction closes at 7:30.
Yeah.
And it would just show that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to give
Well,
them
let me
a-
ask you guys this.
Yeah.
How did it go last year? What'd you do last time? Did people get out of their seats?
And they did.
Gave them a
Yeah.
warning, and a couple people went out and made final things.
I don't think it was like a huge thing. I think there were just a few people that were watching the UGA items in particular.
Yeah.
And so they
Because you don't have 200 items. You don't have that many items anyway.
that's not a ton.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that once you have them in their seat, keep them in their seat. But there's no hard fast rule to anything. If you want to do it earlier, I'm game with that. If you want to leave it where it's at.
Okay.
I for some reason I thought they were doing it on their phone, but yeah, it's old school. Yeah, typically I'll tell you how we did it before. When we would do it is they'd have an hour and a half, and then we'd close the silent auction, and this is what I'm talking about, 150 items, and then the volunteers and me would get the tablecloths and put them over the silent auction items. They're closed because people would hang out to like 10 seconds and go
Yeah.
bump somebody out of the way, and it truly was like that. Like,
So that's a thought. Then
yeah, and that way it's
thought.
closed, because if you leave them up and you leave the sheets out, Not that your people are going to do it. Of course not your people, but some
Of course
people,
not.
some people would go and at the very last minute mark somebody out of the way because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm going to get that. And I'm not going to say it's cheating. That's just an easier way to do it. I'm like, so we would do that, eliminate that by pulling the sheets over the silent auction items and saying it's done.
Yeah.
It
Or we
just-
could just pull the little bid sheets.
Yeah,
Just
you
as
pull the
soon as
sheets.
it's over, just
Or the other thing, you pull the bid sheets. Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Christy, we just need to make sure, that like right when it's
Mhm.
over, just those are all pulled. I think we do that.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You want us to
I'll leave it to you guys on that. And the reason I was saying the other way is if you've got 600 or okay, realistically, we had 70 items, which has happened a lot of times. We'll have 300 people and there's 150 items. I'm like, okay, and that's a lot of stuff, but you don't have that. You've got 12 maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Not a
so
lot.
it's not huge. So then I think it's more manageable than if you had a giant amount of numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys think is best there.
So then are you good with announcing the winners for the silent auction?
You know what I think we should do with that? I think you should put that at the end.
Oh, okay. Wait, that's right. We do that at the end, don't we? We don't
I
do
would
that.
do that at the
Big
end.
part of the
That
landing
would be
plan. Landing plan,
awkward.
final instructions. Thanks for
Yeah.
being
Yes.
here.
Right.
Silent
And
auction,
and
go back
and that stretches that time to get the cards back up to the stage.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
I love it. I think, that's perfect.
And it doesn't take away from the momentum of
Yeah.
raising funds. I think
Yeah.
it works well when you're closing a silent auction and people are doing it on their phone. We've got a 2-minute countdown and people, and they're like, and you see people go, oh, and close, and it closes, and then you're done. And then you move on to the live auction because then this is out of the way and then they can go on to the next step.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I'm good, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, send me what you got when you got it. It'll be fine, whatever happens.
It will. It's going to be good. And I'm sure Christy and I will process everything. And then, we'll kind of make sure that we're all on the same page with everything. But this has been good. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you for
worries.
your-
Oh, anytime. And the biggest thing, and I'm so glad I met with you, is whatever happens, I just try and approach every one of these with just gratitude and love in your heart and express that to your patrons. If you say that and you feel that, it'll come back. The universe works that way. God works that way.
Well, and that's it. And that is, I'm glad you said that because that's something that's really important to us. Like more so, I mean, obviously this is fundraising. Obviously we want to raise funds.
You have to keep
But
the spirit in mind.
The important thing is that people walk away going, man, like look at what God has done. Like, look at all the kids who have been impacted. That's the focus is engaging in the ministry, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's at, giving or whatever. There's a way for everybody to get involved. And I just think the heart of the ministry is the most important thing that's communicated. I would rather, that's the most important thing versus raising the funds, although that is very important. And that is the focus for this.
And
however,
they go hand in hand. You really
They do.
can't do one without the other. And I believe it's more important to get the message and the mission and the love and the generosity out, because then you do better anyway. Because if you're just there and they sense that all they want is the money, then they'll back out.
Absolutely.
So, and for me, that's why I'm not just a fast talking dude, because then they're like, it's just an auctioneer, whatever. It matters. And I'll leave you with this. It's my mantra. Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. So that's what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Agree completely.
All right. Cool. All right. God bless. Keep me in the loop and we'll be talking.
Will do. Thanks
Sounds
so much.
good. Thank you, George.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.